a lot of publishers are looking at this question of mobile web versus mobile app. I think what we're going to see is a world where people want to do both, and they're still going to fine-tune their strategy on both Apple devices and Android devices and do both mobile web as well as apps. And what we're trying to do at Brightcove is make it easy for the publisher to do both without having a lot of different costs, where they can say, okay, I've got to think about the mobile web and Flash Player 10.1, or maybe if it's a different device on HTML5, but I also have to think about building these native apps and how do I get my video into that. And what we're providing is an abstraction layer where we make it very easy to publish to both of those, and we provide players for both of those scenarios. If you're a Brightcove customer, all of the ingestion and transcoding and back-end media management and metadata management is identical. You don't have to do anything different than you would do for your website. You upload your content once into our cloud, and we will transcode that automatically into 6 renditions so that you have the right format, whether you're delivering to a mobile phone, a desktop computer, or even a large screen TV. So that's good. So all of that is the same. For the playback experience, for the user experience that you're creating, then what we provide is an SDK. And that SDK is a set of components and code libraries that you can plug into any application that you're building. So you set down, the way you build an app is with an SDK, and for Android, you're writing against the Android SDK. For the iPhone, there's a iOS SDK. But for all the video parts of it, you don't have to write any of that stuff from scratch. You get from us for free a set of classes for the video player, for the navigation of the video, for playlisting, for tweeting or Facebook integration of that video. And so you just plug all that in, and then you can build whatever app you want around it. If that's a newspaper app, you can build that. If it's a game app, you can build that. As we look at the video ecosystem, the way Brightcove is looking at this is we started on the desktop with a player that we built a standard set of APIs and a set of standards around video advertising. There's one standard called VAST, another standard called VPAID. And we worked very closely with the IAB to develop these standards, and they've gotten to a reasonable maturity right now, and we've implemented them very deeply in our desktop player. And what you'll see us doing, and so we integrate, just to be clear, on the desktop with every major ad server, every major ad technology vendor, whether that's a Google or a Freewheel, or in Europe a Video Plaza or a Smart Clip. There's 20 or 30 or 40 of these. And they all do a lot of good work, and publishers can choose who they want to work with depending on the business terms and the technology and all of that. But because we support standards, that's a really good thing. What we're doing now is we're saying, okay, let's build that same set of events and APIs so we can plug into all of those different technologies, whether it's using Flash Player 10.1, or whether it's a native app on Android, or whether it's using HTML5 or native apps on the Apple ecosystem. And so we're building that abstraction layer, and we're working with all of those partners that we've already worked with on the desktop to make that very easy for people. And we're in the early stages of that right now. So I'm not suggesting all of that's done yet. I would describe this release on Android, the Android SDK, and the Flash Player 10.1 as our first releases. And what you'll see is a very rich roadmap over the course of this year that we'll be integrating with more and more partners, advertising partners, video ad servers, etc., to make that very easy to do. And so I think today people are starting, and then over the course of the next 3 and 6 months, you'll make it possible to provide all of the monetization, all of the analytics capabilities we have in the desktop across all of the mobile runtimes as well.